The local bourse is stronger along with its global peers as investors assess minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest meeting. Zwelakhe Mnguni is Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers, and he joins us now for the latest market moves. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Mr. Mnguni. The rand is trading firmly against the US dollar. What's driving the moves?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the big thing is, as you said, the Fed minutes that came out, and it looks like there seems to be a consensus that the Fed that rates would have to wait for evidence for inflation being persistent beyond the current point. So, based on what we've seen above 90, I think sitting at around 85 currently. I think that is kind of a favorable environment that kind of supports the growth in the global economy. So maybe the market's looking at this and thinking that the growth throttle will go away in terms of interest rates, and we have a positive environment. I think for the resources in particular, which are up strongly today, we heard that China would be putting out a significant amount of stimulus. So it does look like there may be some support for commodity demands as a result of that stimulus package that will be put out by China.
The Financial Services Tribunal has upheld the JSE's decision to impose a public censure and 15 million rand penalty against disgraced former Steinhoff CEO Marcus Jooste for his failure to adhere to the bourse's listing requirements. And that decision comes just in time to coincide with Steinhoff International shares ceasing to exist on Friday. Talk us through the findings.
Yeah, I think, as you know, we've got a big vested interest in this story. I think first thing is to say that 15 million, in my view, is significantly inadequate given the damage that has been done to investors, pension funds, and other investors that have lost billions of rand, hundreds of billions of rand. I think the second thing is to highlight that there seems to be a pointing of a finger on only Marcus Jooste. I still believe that the net should have been cast wider in terms of this sanction around who misled the market. He couldn't have been alone. There would have been a CFO. There would have been a team of people that prepared their accounts that were misleading to investors. There was a board that was supposed to review that, and I don't think all those people are being held accountable. He's just been scapegoated as a single person. Not that he's not culpable, but I think he's definitely shouldn't be the only person that's standing in court or being charged for this.
And why is that important, Zwelakhe Mnguni? Are you concerned that they may go and reproduce this kind of action somewhere else and reinvent themselves or crystallize themselves in a different setting?
Look, I think the first thing is that Marcus Jooste is now being barred from being a director of the market for 20 years. What about the rest of the guys that are still participating in the market? So they can continue despite the fact that they presided over the biggest loss in the history of this country, and they can continue to be directors elsewhere. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right for investors to have people that have been tainted by this whole scandal, that they are basically being saved or preserved, and one person being held accountable. So I do think that the fine is inadequate. The number of people that are being held accountable are inadequate, and I just think that we should see a bit more sanctioning by the JSE.
All right. Mining production decreased by 2.5% in August 2023, mainly dragged lower by diamonds and manganese ore. Help us make sense of the numbers.
Yeah, it does look like the production of the manganese and the and diamonds did come down a bit in the last month, but certainly if you look at the quarter, I think the decline was not as bad as the 1 month. So the 1 month pulled the numbers down, but I think we are also seeing that the sales are not going out to the harvest, and there's been struggle for the bulks. There has been also a price pressure. If you look at the commodity prices, there's been quite a bit of pressure on many commodities, including the PGM. So we are seeing that index coming under a bit of pressure. But certainly, I would think, if I'm thinking from an investor point of view, we're probably getting close to the bottom for this sector now, where the prices would probably stabilize or go sideways, and then the next leg up would be upwards.
The Zwelakhe Business Confidence Index recorded a reading of 108.6 in August this year, followed by 108.2 in September. What does it tell us?
Yeah, I think it does show that the momentum remains relatively weak in terms of the upward momentum in terms of the business growth. The one area where we are seeing a bit of strength is the trade account related area where there's import and exports. There is a bit of a improvement there, but on the internal side, I mean, from a fiscal perspective, there hasn't been much money that's been spent by the government on infrastructure, for example. I think if you look at the other element where the businesses, the inventories and all those things, I don't think those things are looking good. So the internal is a bit weak, the external is a bit better.
Britain's accounting regulator has fined KPMG a record £21 million, some $26 million for a failure in audits. What's going on?
Yeah, it looks like, again, another story of accounts that were falsified and misleading. And Caroline was basically a property developer that actually was focused in the hospitals and building some infrastructure for the government. They misled or they produced a falsified account, and KPMG was the auditor, and looks like they didn't pick up any of the obvious errors in the account, and they were basically fined by the regulator. And as I said, I mean, one of the parliamentarians was actually quite vocal about the need to actually increase or strengthen the penalties for those audit firms for not exercising the necessary oversight. And the audit firm basically counted that it was the responsibility of the directors that they provide the accurate financial information. They were just auditing it. But I think the message is similar to what we were talking about on Steinhoff, that the accountability between directors and the auditors, there's still a big gap between those two, and the shareholders and the investors are the ones that are picking up the tab for the losses.
Zwelakhe Mnguni, thank you very much, sir, for your time this afternoon. Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers.